Hey guys, so I actually decided to do another video. This is our third video for the day for the channel, and as you all know, this is coming out a bit late because I was relatively busy also for the entire day, meetings and stuff, and that's why I was able to record late. But I don't know, I just really feel a commitment to do this, and what I realized is, as my following and the subscriber base would continue to grow, as what Spider as what the movie Spider-Man said, with great power comes great responsibility. And I really believe that it's important that people stay informed, people get to know what's happening in the market so that you don't mainly just decide out of emotion. You don't decide based on fear. You don't decide based on greed, because it's very, very important when you see markets somehow, some way, um move up, people get emotional and they get a bit greedy. When markets move massively down, also, people get emotional and get a bit fearful. I hope that this is something that tempers emotion, that this is something about data, and this is something that gives you insight to trade the markets with confidence. So we talked about prior to this, no, just a couple of minutes before this. This will probably be out close to midnight already. But if you're awake, comment I'm awake, comment Team Midnight, comment. No matter what time you release it, I'll still watch the video. But prior to this, a few minutes before this, we talked about Jollibee Dito and the market. We also talked about why the market was down today, why Dito was also down today, and we gave specific reasons and analogies, or at least narratives, on why it is like that. And for this, though, we are on the second day already of the Converge um, IPO. As you all know, yesterday we did a deep dive on this. So this is our second day coverage of the stock, and I've been doing this over and over, at least for IPO, so that we get to cover it on a day-to-day aspect. And as you can see, no one has a crystal ball on how it will move, because as you can see also, it's so interesting how different IPOs are all shape all I was gonna say shape and type, kaya shape lumabas, all shape, types and forms, iba-iba yung nagiging movements niya. So it's very, very important that you stick to your principles, because it's your principles and your strategies that will allow you to navigate and weave through the markets, especially when there's not much charting that you can do if you're a technical trader, and all you can look at is the price action, bit of charts, yung mga minute charts or hourly candlesticks, or in a way also it will always boil back to what you know about the fundamentals. So second day down, yesterday there was a large red candle that brought it lower. Please remember the IPO price was at 16.8. The lowest point today, as what you can see here in the title, is at 13.20 pesos per share. Will this be the lowest, or will we see it slide down further? Let's look at what the numbers are also telling us. So for today's podcast, I'm still gonna talk about a bit of the PSEI, then price action, technicals. I was planning to talk about fundamentals, but the fundamentals from yesterday did not necessarily change. So if you want to know more of the fundamentals, just look at it from yesterday. Then what should you do? Still the same recommendation from yesterday. If you are an investor and a trader, you can reference that video. But for this, I just want to talk about basically the price action of Converge and the technicals, and then comparing it to where it was, uh, comparing where other IPOs were. So if you're new to this, but also, and you're watching my videos for the first time, please do note that I'm not a person who gives stock picks. This is not the channel for stock tips. This is not the channel of me telling you what to buy, sell, hold, or avoid. Never ever. Not just from my channel or for whatever you see. Never buy, sell, hold, or avoid the stock just because people talk about it, just your friends talk about it, just because you see it on TV, just because you see a YouTube channel talk about it. Don't do that. What will give you the strength? This is so foundational, guys. You need to get this, and I say this every day because this is so important. What will give you the strength to win in the markets is you're following your plan, you're following a set of principles, and you're following your strategy, regardless if it's technicals or fundamentals. And it doesn't matter if you win or lose, if you make a mistake or you play it flawlessly. What matters is your decisiveness on how you act based on your strategy. Because at the end of the day, we will all make mistakes in the market. It's all about you admitting it, It's all about you pivoting from it and learning from it as well. So comment below if you're excited, comment below if you're ready, comment below if you want to know more about Converge ICT. So this is where we are right now. We saw the markets as what I've said earlier. It hit a low of 13.2, but as it hit a low of 13.2, it started to rebound. It started to move up, and it started to go and close at 13.92, bringing the stock down 8.54%. At this current price, the market cap is around 104 billion pesos already. And as you can see, no, comparing it to where the market was, or at least the index for the day, we saw Converge down 8.54%, where the market in general also was down 1.17%. So yesterday was different. The market was up, and then we saw Converge down. Today, the market is also down in the same way as Converge is also down as well. So let's continue. So by the way, market cap, not the market cap, but value turnover for the day is at 7.75 billion. And it's still very, very consistent on that over the past few days where we saw foreigners start to come in. We've seen value turnover start to push and move higher than I guess as compared to where it was now, foreigners were not coming in yet. So past few days, value turnover was higher. As you all know, prior to this, value turnover was around 3 billion, 4 billion now. And then suddenly when foreigners started to buy, boom, we saw it start to spike up. Then the markets also start to move up as well. So just to compare everything, also, I just want to show this. This is the market as a whole. Now let's compare it. This is day two, this is day one, side by side. So I pretty much mentioned that the value turnover for the whole market today was around 7 billion, and Converge was around 1.7. So it's still characteristic to see a stock close to right after the IPO to have large amounts of volumes. These are for people who want to sell, or these are also for people who were not able to pick it up during the IPO and now they want to come in, especially right now that it's lower as compared to the IPO price. So that, I guess that's the, in terms of advantages and disadvantages. No, for those who bought it at the IPO, if the stock slides down, I guess your disadvantage is if you waited a bit, you could have bought it at a lower price, especially if you are a long-term investor. But it could also go kasi the other way, similar to Mart, similar to Double Dragon, similar to stocks that have moved up, that if you were not able to allocate capital during the IPO and then it goes up, you would have to buy the stock at a much higher price. So 7 billion value turnover for the day. Value turnover for Converge is 1.7. So roughly, no, it's around 20 plus percent of the value traded for the day, which is quite big na rin, because the next stocks that have been getting a larger amount of value is Ayala Land 530, Jollibee 378, Tito 304, BDO 302, SM 285, SM Prime 261, and Ayala Corp. So as you can see, it has dropped a bit. The trades also has dropped from 39,000 yesterday to around 26,000. So it's quite noticeable already that from yesterday to today, um, value traded has gone lower. So in terms of price action, comparing day one and day two, yesterday 9.4% drop, today 8.54% drop. Lowest yesterday was 14.92, lowest today is 3.2. But yesterday, similar, as it hit the lows, it started to, as you can see from a candlestick pattern, as it hit the lows, you saw it start to go up a bit and then close relatively higher than the low. So yesterday, from 14.92, it went to 15.22. For today, it went as low as 13.2. Then suddenly, it started to spring back up, then move sideways a bit for from an intraday movement. But if there's one thing that's different from day one and day two, is basically this. Yesterday, foreigners were net sellers, negative 94 million pesos. Today, foreigners are net buyers with 12 million. But also, please do note that there's a stark difference between the transactions. Yesterday, buying buying and selling was around 2 billion. Today it's just around 800 plus million. So the buying today, although it's net buying, is nowhere near the amount that was transacted yesterday. So just so you guys can take note of that. Anyways, I also want to show this that uh, as you all know, I mentioned at the start that the lowest that for the certain lowest area that the stock hit. But I just want to note also that somewhere around here, somewhere around the 13.92 level, that's where the largest amount of transactions happened. You have around 12.33% there, but close to that particular region, 13.9, you had 4.31, 13.92, 12.33, 13.94, 4.42, 13.96, 4.07. So around that range, 13.9 to 14, that's where a large chunk of the transactions were. That's where a large chunk also of the value turnover was. So a lot of people were pushing hard when it started to drop below the 14 peso level, as evident by this. And what's so interesting about looking at it from a price standpoint, please remember this: the price discounts everything. We could have all of our opinions, whether it's cheap or expensive, but as we see larger amounts of volume, larger amounts of buying happen at a certain price, it also shows you that hey, there's a certain amount of people believing, thinking that at this point in time it's relatively cheap. Volume weighted average for the day is around 14.0677, and the average trade is around 4,753 shares. So if you try to multiply that, no, I'm just so curious about it. Um, so yung calculator ko. As raw as it can be. No? Ito I think disadvantage if you do something that's are raw. This won't be edited anymore. This will just come out. So if I'm just curious how it will go. No? I don't. This is not something that you analyze also at this particular juncture. No? So we saw it close at around 13.92. I'm just curious. 13.92 times 4753. So it's around 66,000 pesos. So it's not as much then pala na 4753 times 14.0677. So I guess the average amount that got traded today was around 66,863 for the number of shares that got bought and sold. So this is the 5 minute chart for the movement of the stock for the day. As you can see, also the first few minutes, that's where larger amounts of volume happened. As you can see, the right here in the left side, larger amounts of volume, but not just larger amounts of volume, larger volatility. Then it started to push up again, then moved sideways already here, but volume right here was relatively weak. Then at the closing, it kind of stayed its course and stayed above the 13.92 level. So this is something that I showed you on the previous video, or the video before this, where we did stocks by request. But from a day-to-day movement perspective, it's quite obvious that two large candles, and it's quite obvious also that somewhere around here first day people started to buy close higher, but this one it's more volatile already, that from 13.2 to 13.9 medyo malaki na yung jump niya. So people started to bottom pick and started to push it up as well. But again, I'll just say this from a candlestick perspective. Yesterday, large red candle with larger selling volatility. Today, large red candle also with larger selling volatility as well. So if I'll compare this from the previous IPOs, it does not look like Mary Mart still. Somehow, if you'll try to compare it with AREIT, it's close, 2 straight days of red candles. Then for Frutas, it does not look like that. So basing it, just comparing it from the last three IPOs, it's closer to a REIT. Converge is closer to a REIT. So let's see tomorrow if there's a semblance that if it will be the same as a REIT, then there might be a shot that there might be a green candle tomorrow. But if there's more selling, then it may solidify that hey, 3 straight red candles already solidifies more bearish movements for the stock. So one thing to watch out for tomorrow is 13.2, an area where people believe it's cheap, as evidence as what we saw today, that as it hit 13.2, boom, it suddenly started to bounce, suddenly started to go up, suddenly started to push higher. So that's what we're gonna inspect for tomorrow, and I do hope we get more clarity on this. So if you guys have questions, guys, feel free to put them in the comment section, and then just gonna try to give you as much content and value from the questions that you guys have been sending out or slide a DM if it's personal via Patreon, via our YouTube community, or via our Instagram's DM area. So just send your questions there, and I'll try to answer as much of it as possible. All of the details also about our Converge ICT IPO coverage is in the link below. We talked about the fundamentals. We had analysts talk about it. We had Wilson Lee Flores, your favorite, talk about it. We also had the execs of the company talk about it as well. So just look at it from there. If you have questions, answer. You can watch that also. But from a day-to-day standpoint, we're gonna answer it in this channel. And then as we see more uh, technicals come out, as you all know, technicals, the strength of technicals is more past prices. As we see it unfold on a day-to-day level, we're just gonna give you more and more of that. Then after this, it's gonna come out already as part of stocks by request. So there. So if you're new to this, Marvin Germo, been trading the markets for over a decade now. So this is my first channel with over 160,000 plus subscribers. Then this is the second one. If you want more videos about this, like, share, subscribe, and appreciate it if you could like. It will significantly help this video be pushed in the YouTube algorithm. And if you learn something from this, a comment will go a long way to bring this video out more and more to more and more Filipinos out there. So I guess that's it. It's almost midnight, and to those who are watching this at midnight, thank you for your continuous perseverance to learn more. And I'll never stop making videos like this because I really believe that this is making a difference in a lot of the lives of Filipinos out there. That in a world where it's all about strife, it's all about um, content that's divisive, I want to be the one that gives content that uplifts the lives of people, that helps people, that I really believe that we are still in one of the greatest eras to be alive. That if you know how to navigate the markets, you can use it as an asset class to help you reach your goals of financial freedom. So that's it for now. Marvin Germo. Thank you so much, Patrick Miguel, for this. Kung di mo napanood yung previous video na pinasalamatan kita, I hope you watch this video, and I'm thanking you for this. Patrick, thank you for sending cap. It's so interesting when we see a lot of people who are doing YouTube videos and our subscribers send you stuff. So thank you so much for that. And to everyone, I hope this video helps you trade well, trade strong, trade smart. And by the way, while this video is rolling, you will see certain videos here. You can click that, and click the button here for more videos or to subscribe to the channel. So bye everyone, and God bless you all.